What's up, guys? Welcome to Mikey Yourself. And for today's video, it's going to be a little bit different of a format change. So typically I don't do the kind of the moto vlog type of video, but one of the things with 2023 I'm looking to do is just give you a little bit more insight to more of my world as it pertains to motorcycles. And with that will come a little bit of moto vlogging. Now, I really look forward to y'all's input, and definitely appreciate the feedback that you provide. So let me know what y'all think and if these videos are beneficial to you. So that said, let's talk about what the purpose of this video is. And I do want to apologize. You don't hear the background of the bike or anything like that because I'm still trying to learn this GoPro thing, and microphone placement apparently is very important. And it just didn't sound great. So what I wanted to do is give you quality audio so that way you can actually hear what I'm saying and view or see the view that I had during the time of making the video. So again, that said, the purpose of this video is to talk about kind of evolution of what I like to ride, and understanding where I'm at today with my 95 Fat Boy. So forever and a day, I've always loved the style of the Cholo bike, right? Just the big wheel, the spokes, the ape hangers, all of that stuff, and that's since I started riding, and I've been riding for quite a long time. I mean, not solid, but we'll say on and off for at least 30 years. And one of my aspirations in life was to become a Harley Davidson owner, and this was my first Harley that I bought, and I love it. I think it looks amazing, and it's one of those things when you walk out there and you see it in the driveway, you're just like, that is so cool, right? Well, as time has gone on and I've done more riding and I bought my Road Glide, I've learned that there are certain things that I kind of appreciate a little bit more, especially now that I'm getting a little bit older, that I didn't so much when I was younger, and that is kind of comfort, functionality. So when I talk about those things, we're just talking about being able to go for those longer rides and be more focused on the ride, and just really appreciate all of the things that a bike can bring to the table for those longer rides. So let's talk a little bit about the 95 Fat Boy. So the 95, of course, is the Evo motor, which I believe is a 80 cubic inch motor. And not a ton of upgrades done to the bike, but several, as you've seen in my past videos. Installed the passing lights on it, LED headlights set up, just changed out the bars because the 16-inch ape hangers that I had on here were just way too high. Then I've also done, some work on the exhaust. So it came with drag pipes, and I didn't change out the drag pipes, but I added in some baffles for two reasons. One was to regain that back pressure, and I know there's a whole kind of online argument whether or not back pressure is needed from the exhaust. That was actually a side benny for me. The main benefit was to bring the noise down just a little bit. I live in a quieter neighborhood, and I appreciate my neighbors, and what I don't want to do is rock them every time I want to crank up the bike. And these baffles find that middle ground for me where it's not quiet, but it ain't extremely loud like the drag pipes were by default. So those are just a couple of things that were done. Of course, the larger tire in the front, that brought its own little challenge with the difference in tracking your speed. And I understand that there's an adapter or something that can be purchased to kind of redial in your speedometer, so that way you're getting an accurate measurement when you go from the 16-inch front wheel to the 21-inch. And by doing that, I'm getting a 5 mile an hour difference where my speedometer reads 5 mile an hour slower than actual speed. So that's kind of the bigger chunk of this bike. Again, had to do some cleaning on it. There was some rust in the tank and all that stuff when I first got it. Got that all cleaned out, and now it runs like a champ. I love this bike. It's got the S&S Shorty carb on it, and that is one of the bennies, is it's carbureted, right? It's old school, right? Now the downside to it is is the smaller Evo motor, and the Evos were never touted to be these big, powerful machines, right? Where the newer bikes, they are larger motors, but with that, especially in the touring arena, you get 6 speeds, right? So the transmissions on the everything I think pre 2007 was 5 speed, and I know a lot of folks, they either did the upgrades to the Ultima or the Baker transmissions, and that means they swapped out the entire unit, or they did the guts and added in that 6 speed. Um, you know, Regardless of what they did, the whole point was they were looking for that sixth gear, which I constantly do on the freeway, and that's a little bit of a I wish it had it, and then the fact that I ride the Road Glide and I'm used to that sixth gear being there as well. So when I get on this bike, the RPMs are high. I'm getting a lot of vibration through the handlebars still. I've done a lot of things to try to counter those vibes, and that is, by putting in the floorboards that are rubber mounted, to put on the Avon ISO grips to help with it there. And it's a tough thing to beat, just because the Evo motor is hard mounted, or not hard mounted, but hard or mounted directly to the frame with no rubber mount, right? So and the Evo motors weren't counterbalanced, just like the newer bikes. I think they started counterbalancing the motors when they came out with the twin cams. So you get a lot less of the vibrations on the twin cams than you do with the Evos. So I had to really start to think about, you know, did I change as I grew up here as a rider? And I absolutely have. When I was younger, it was, twist that throttle, let's go, let's have a blast. It was about the look. It was not just about the ride. And now it's become more about the ride for me as I've grown older. And so you got to figure out at what point, what kind of rider are you? Are you the guy or girl who wants to ride and have this nice fancy show bike that you're going to be able to go around town or anything, but it's not really made for long hauls? Are you the person that wants to do nothing but the long hauls, and you really don't care what your bike looks like? Like there's those guys that they don't wash their bike or whatever because it's made for riding, not for washing. And I respect every single rider out there. I mean, again, that's your jam, right? So it's up to you. I find myself somewhere in the middle. I keep it clean. I like it to look nice. I like to do some of the modifications, but at the same time, I want to ride, right? I'm not going to park this on a carpet or a set of mirrors or anything out anywhere. So I don't, the look, the feel, everything for my Cholo, it's just not for me anymore. Right, so that is one of the big differences now that I've found as I've been riding more and more, is that I've become a different rider. I'm looking for a better experience, more enjoyable experience, because it's about just being in the wind, right? So now that I've found that about myself, I've got to think about what I want to do as far as a next ride. So I've got the Road Glide. I love it. But like I said, I've got to find like that thing that's going to make me happy. And I think what I can do is find an opportunity that would allow me to keep that Cholo style, but also get all the bennies of a touring bike. So I think what my next move here is going to be is to look at going Road King, because that gives me that kind of open bar look, just like the Softails, um, with the added benefits of the touring bikes, like saddlebags and having that six gear as long as I get the 2007 and up. And then, it's, plus or minus depending on how you look at it. I'm also going to be looking at getting that fuel injection, right? So that was part of the newer stuff, and you get the counterbalance motor, so it's just a little bit more comfortable ride. There are a lot more opportunities, I feel like, with that combination than what I do right now with the Evos. As the Evos age, of course, parts become a little bit more rare, but I'll tell you what, like any aftermarket shop, they welcome an Evo through the door because they're simple motors to work on, right? So at this point, I think it's time to wave goodbye to the Softail Cholo here and wave hello to a new oncoming bike, and we'll see what that turns out to be in the near future. So I hope you enjoyed this new video. Again, I know it's a little bit different from what I've done in the past, and I'm wondering, hey, does this make sense to you? Does this work for you? Does this help with the thought process that maybe you're going through yourself? Like, what are the things that you're trying to think through as you determine what your next moves are as you begin to evolve as a writer yourself? If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. If you enjoy my content, become a subscriber. If you're looking forward to see what that next video is, what the next bike's going to be, then definitely become a subscriber. Join the community. I'm looking forward to your feedback to help guide me a little bit as well, too, to know what it is that you guys are looking for, right? Like, I want to know what's going to provide you with the best information from my videos. So until that next video, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you in the win.